Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started today with our Stronger Together webinar in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month. So it's great to see so many people joining our webinar. I want to do just a brief introduction to myself, and then I'm going to turn it over to my peer colleagues at Togetherall. You may recognize my voice. I've been the moderator for EFR's webinars for the past 3 years. I'm Johanna Dunlevy, the Wellness and Marketing Manager. And I'm very, very excited to announce that we, EFR, have partnered with Togetherall to provide additional benefits and resources to you. So what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about what this platform Togetherall is all about, talk to you about peer support, why peer support can be a great tool or resource for you in addition to other resources that you may be using already. And also just kind of walk through the site, and Nicole from Togetherall is going to show us what it looks like, how you can join, and how you can add it to your little, what I would say, toolbox of mental health resources. So I'm going to let my peer colleagues from Togetherall introduce themselves, and then we'll get it kicked off.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marilyn Kiefer. I am the Senior Manager of Partnerships at Togetherall, and just really grateful to be here today and share a little bit more about our partnership with EFR, and hopefully have you all walk away with a bit more of an understanding about peer support, the value of peer support, and hopefully have you all, join and participate in the platform. So thank you. Nicole?
Thanks, Marilyn. Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole Mashura. I'm VP of Partnerships here at Togetherall. Super excited to be here and to launch our new partnership with EFR. And as Marilyn said, hope you'll get a bit of a flavor kind of what Togetherall is all about, and really encourage you to, after this webinar, to sign up and check it out for yourself. So Marilyn, I'll pass it over to you. Sorry, over to you, Johanna.
That's okay. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so if you're joining us today, you know about EFR's Employee Assistance Program benefits. You have our benefits, and you've likely been seeing information from EFR and across all platforms from various sources. Maybe your healthcare providers, maybe a local organization that you belong to, maybe the church that you attend. But May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so in honor of that, we do want to announce this new benefit that you have available. But we also want to remind you that every month is Mental Health Awareness Month for EFR. We focus on mental health 100% of the time. That is what we are here to help support our employer groups with, so that they can in turn support their team members. And so I just want to give a quick plug for your EAP benefits and remind you that you have access to a lot of great resources through EFR to help you manage life's challenges. You have access to counseling that can be in person or virtual, telephonic, legal, financial resources, life coaching, a variety of resources on our website, our blog, other webinars you can join, our podcast. So don't forget about all of the many ways that EFR can help you kind of as you navigate life and all the changes that you encounter. And we're so excited to announce this partnership and share with you the new peer support resources that we have through Togetherall. So I'm going to turn it over to Mary Lynn, and then Nicole is going to show us the platform.
Thank you so much. So I'm sure many of you are aware of, what peer support is, but I did want to share a little bit more about the concept of peer support and the value of peer support, and also share a little bit of my own personal experience with participating in peer support groups. So peer support is really an opportunity for people not only to share what they might be going through, but also to support other people as well. And I, just wanted to share my own personal experience with peer support. So in 2017, I was diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder, and it was quite a shock because I had no idea that that's what I was dealing with at the time. And although I went and got the diagnosis, I ended up getting therapy for it. A friend of mine recommended going to a peer support group, and I initially was really quite scared about it because I thought about, you know, the concept of sitting around a table with a bunch of strangers was really scary for me. But when I actually went and joined a peer support, this was, of course, in person back in 2017, I realized that just sitting amongst a group of people that were going through something similar to me was really quite eye-opening. And I really felt like for the first time, I wasn't alone in my own experience. Now, of course, I had a diagnosed mental health condition, and peer support really can be for people that are just going through, like Johanna mentioned, any sort of changes in life, whether it's, you know, certain transitions, any relationship experiences, divorce, you know, maybe perhaps discrimination. Like we all every day deal with various life stressors. And so, although in my case, I really utilized peer support as, you know, for a mental health condition, it is something that can be of use for those that are really just going through any life challenges. And again, there's different forms of peer support. So in my case, I actually physically went to a peer support group. There's also organized online communities that have this. And then of course, Togetherall is like a platform where you all can actually access it. And it is now free and available to all EFR clients that have access to the EAP. So we're really excited to share that with you all today. But I just wanted to give a bit of a background about Togetherall, and then Nicole's going to really take us into the platform and show you how it all works so that when you do log in, you'll be able to navigate it. So Togetherall is a safe, scalable online peer-to-peer mental health community, and it is integrated with EFR's EAP, so you'll be able to access it quite seamlessly. One of the unique things about the platform is it is monitored and moderated 24/7 by licensed clinicians. So although you're going to be going on there and chatting with people, peers, our clinicians are available and on and moderating the site 24/7. So there is that safety level there as well, and you also have access to them if you do have a specific question. The other thing that's really unique about Togetherall is it is anonymous. So of course there is like that potentially stigma that I know I experienced when I first went to a peer support group was, you know, that, you know, if I'm writing something on the platform and sharing something that I might be going through, is one of my colleagues going to be on the other end? And at no point will anyone ever know that it's you speaking, because you do, as Nicole will share, you do create an anonymous username so that you're able to go in there and share and not have that feeling of, you know, anyone knowing who it is that's sharing it. And again, like I said, it's anyone that has anything that they're dealing with in life. So it doesn't need to be a particular mental health condition. You can really just share about anything that you're dealing with on that day. So I'll pass it over to Nicole, but oh yeah, I forgot to mention, we've been around for the last 15 years. So the community is very vibrant, very robust, and we have about 10,000 individuals monthly that are on there chatting and discussing things. So Nicole, I'll turn it over to you to go into a bit more detail and then to actually show what the platform looks like.
Great, thanks, Mary Lynn. So as Mary Lynn mentioned, the community is a living and thriving and very active space to come and to seek support around, you know, a real variety of issues and concerns. So from parenting or relationship concerns, just having a bad day, you know, to dealing with, you know, PTSD or trauma or depression or anxiety or phobias, for example. Togetherall can be, you know, certainly a standalone support service. So if you're at a place where, you know, maybe you don't need to speak to an EAP counselor, or maybe you're not really ready to speak to an EAP counselor through EFR, Togetherall can be a great space to kind of start to explore some of those issues and concerns on your own in a way that's comfortable. There's no pressure to share. There's no pressure to support others. You can come on and you can read about others' experiences that are like yours. Certainly though, if you are engaged with an EAP counselor through EFR, Togetherall is a really, really beneficial complementary support. So whether that's, you know, you're waiting for your first appointment with your EAP counselor, whether you're going through your sessions, it's hard work to do the work in counseling. So connecting with others and around that are going through that experience is often super beneficial. And certainly as your sessions kind of wrap up, going into the community and often, supporting others can be a really powerful way to make you feel good, right? And to sort of keep and maintain some of the gains that you've made through your EAP sessions. So I'll now jump into the actual community and show you how to get started. All right. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to efr.org, and you're going to want to go to Programs and Services, and then go down to the Employee Assistance Program tab, and you'll see that there's Togetherall right here. And then you're going to click here to register, and we're going to ask you to enter your employer or the organization that you work with. And then the registration process is really simple. As Mary Lynn said, it is an anonymous experience. So you're going to create an anonymous nickname or username. You're going to enter in an email address, does not have to be your work email address, can be absolutely be your personal email address. Enter in your zip code and your telephone number. And then in a couple of minutes, you're going to receive an email to your inbox. And we're going to ask you a couple of demographic questions and the reasons why you're joining the Togetherall community. But all in all, the process takes, a handful of minutes to get started. So I'm going to come back in as kind of a returning user. I'm going to just put my screen a little bit bigger so you can see. So you'll see here in the top right-hand side, it says I scream for ice cream. So that's my anonymous username. I'm always going to appear to everybody else in the community as I scream for ice cream. You'll notice down here in the bottom right-hand side, it says Ask a Wall Guide. So Wall Guide is our nickname for our clinicians who, again, are doing that 24/7 monitoring and moderating. And so while it very much is a peer-to-peer experience, at any time I can reach out and I can chat with a member of our clinical team if I feel that that's necessary. So it's going to take me to when I log into my home page, which is kind of like a news feed in other kind of social communities. And just like in other social communities, you can kind of configure or customize it to show things on topics or issues that you're interested in or that you're not interested in. So I've said, yes, include stuff around anxiety, depression, relationships. I've also said, I want to avoid stuff around recovery. I want to avoid stuff around PTSD or trauma. Maybe I find that triggering for me. There's three parts the Togetherall experience. So there's the community, and that's where that peer-to-peer interaction occurs. And then there are some courses and additional resources really meant to kind of support you on your journey. So if I jump into the community, again, as we mentioned, it is a lively and vibrant space. We have about 10,000 interactions on any given month from members. So regardless of the time of day, regardless of the kind of experience or issue that you're going through, there's always somebody in the community who can relate to that. So you can see, SJ84, posted 46 minutes ago about being scared and hurt and lonely. And non-orange, you get some funny names, posting about hating their job. A couple hours ago, Paradise 333, posted saying it's their first post here, et cetera, et cetera. So one way that you can find other people who are going through kind of similar experiences is through our categories or our tags. So I've said, show all here. Let's just say I'm going through, I'm experiencing anger and I'm also experiencing, addiction concerns. If I hit OK, all of the posts, the peer-to-peer posts around these two issues, addiction and anger, are going to come with the most recent kind of being at the top. So that's one way that I can find others who are, experiencing similar things. The other is through our groups function. So we've got what we call wellness-based groups. So for example, a space to share health and lifestyle tips, a space to practice gratitude within our gratitude diaries group. We've also got role or profession-based groups. So if I'm a nurse, for example, and I want to connect with other nurses and healthcare workers around staff shortages and compassion fatigue, et cetera, stresses that are really unique to being a nurse or a healthcare worker, I've got a separate kind of space to do so. Same with being a parent or a caregiver. Military and veterans can come in this sort of space. Teachers, can come in our educators group and connect around some of the specific stresses of being a teacher, etc. So that's another way through our groups function that, you can find others going through shared experiences. And then to, share your own experience, to get started with that, you go to create a post. And there are 3 different kinds of posts that I can initiate. The first is what we call a talk about, which is a post that's visible to everybody within the community. And it's a text-based post. The second is what we call a brick, and that is a bit of artistic expression that I can, express myself creatively and share it with the community. And then you can start a smaller kind of subgroup, maybe with another member or a handful of other members that is sort of closed to those members. But everything is under monitoring and moderation by our clinical team. So if I wanted to start a post, I'd just say here, I'm not going to post it because it's a live community, but if I'm going to say, feeling nervous, today as my title, I'm going to select my categories. Let's just say it's anxiety and relationships it's about. And then I've got 3,000 characters to kind of get what's going on my mind, kind of off my chest and share with the community. So that's really it from the community perspective. I'll walk through the courses and the resources in a little bit more detail. So there are courses on a vast array of issues or topics. So you can see here, managing your worry, quitting smoking, managing anger, improving your sleep, managing PTSD, coping with grief and loss, for example. So if I go to improving your sleep, all of the courses kind of look the same, although the content is different. At first, I'll give an overview of what I can expect to learn and get out of the course. In this case, it's around sleep troubles or insomnia. I'll then be prompted to take the self-assessment just to get a sense of where am I in terms of the severity of sleep issues? And it's completely self-guided and self-paced, and I can kind of work through the course at my own leisure. We've also got some resources. So we've got a journaling tool or space, some goal setting, a variety of self-assessments on a variety of kind of issues or themes or topics, in health anxiety, general anxiety, drinking concern, drug use, etc. And then we've got links to articles and external resources. So you can check out some of the other services and things that are available to you through EFR, like watching a webinar, exploring other services in your EAP. And then we've got a bunch of different articles that you can kind of move through. So again, we'll go to those categories or those tags. Let's just say I'm dealing with anxiety. I'll hit OK. Then all of the articles around anxiety, various kinds of anxiety. This one's about social anxiety. This one's just about worry in general, etc., are available for me to explore, again, at my own pace, at my own leisure. So that's about it from actually seeing the community. I'm going to turn it over to Johanna now, just to kind of wrap things up and take any more questions from the team.
Thank you, Nicole. And yes, we've been getting some questions in the chat. So I will definitely address some of those with everyone because I think they're questions that most people may have. Could you go back to the PowerPoint? I think there was another slide or two that we wanted to share.
Yep, here you go.
So, and this was one of the questions that came up in the chat. Can you remind me, how do I navigate to the registration page? If you go to www.efr.org, under programs and services, you'll see EAP, and then that menu has an additional drop down, and then you can navigate to this page where you click to register. So very easy to get registered, as Nicole showed you. It just takes a few clicks once you get to the registration page, and you will use your organization to register. And another question that came in that I wanted to address with everyone is, what email address should I use? And like Nicole said, you can use any email address you'd like. work, personal. You can make up a new email address just for this platform. Whatever email address you're comfortable using is what we want you to use. But again, very easy to get to the registration page, and we will be sending out an email to everyone who joined us today for this webinar with a link to register. So I know how it goes. You jump off a webinar and you jump right into your next meeting, and you might be really excited about this right now, but you may forget about it and not register today. But you will receive an email communication to whatever email address you use to sign up for today's webinar as kind of a reminder, hey, please join and check out the great resources available. Just to kind of wrap up, I wanted to remind you of the different ways that you might benefit from peer support. And kind of as Mary Lynn had shared a personal story, I'd like to share a personal story of my own. I was someone who 4 years ago was in counseling, and I had a pretty good support network with my family and friends, but I was really struggling because one of my circumstances was that a loved one had alcoholism, and I didn't know what to do. I was trying to really kind of control the uncontrollable, I guess you could say. And so it was, encouraged by several people and my counselor to consider a peer support group to connect with other people who are having similar experiences. And I was just very resistant. I resisted for a couple of years, to be honest. And this was an in-person support group that I joined, but now I joined virtually. And I just want to let you know that it's so important to connect with people who have similar life experiences, because it makes you feel validated, and it makes you feel like you have this additional lifeline and a place you can go and just be really open and honest. And for me, it felt like all of my interactions with my close friends and family were constantly about the situation going on in my life, and I wanted to just kind of resume normal conversations with those people. I didn't want to always be talking about the things that were, concerning me and the decisions that I needed to make. And so when I opened myself up to a peer support group and, shared with strangers what was going on, I just felt, like I said, validated, and there was no judgment, and no one was telling me what I needed to do or what I should do. They were just listening to me. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits of peer support, is that you can connect with people who understand. And for me, the hardest thing was walking into a room and sitting around that table. But had I had an online option, I think I would have joined much sooner. I don't think I would have waited a couple of years. So if this is your first time considering peer support, I think that this could be a really great way to experience it, because you don't have to carve out an hour, a week to go to a meeting, or, build up the courage to walk into a room full of strangers. This is really a great space for you to consider joining. And if any of these things resonate with you, maybe you don't have a support system, or you do have a support system, but you don't want to share with that, support group what's going on, this could be a great resource. Maybe you just want to connect with others who have similar lived experiences. That can be hard sometimes. I felt very lonely in my personal experience, and then when I joined a peer support group, all of a sudden I felt like there are so many people going through what I'm going through. And again, it was just very validating. A lot of the ways I was kind of processing and reacting to my circumstances were very typical for people in a situation like mine. If you're someone who has a counselor, maybe you've used your EAP benefit and you have counseling sessions lined up, this can be a great supplement, in between counseling sessions. It can be a great way to just continue that conversation with people who understand. And also, if you're someone who just wants to provide support, maybe you feel like you're in a really good place and you want to share with someone else going through something that you went through, how you experienced it, and maybe just lending that support to others, that could be very, very helpful. So just, think about all the ways peer support may help you, and I think you'll find a way into the platform and find the support that you need. All right, so I'm going to go through, there's a lot of questions, so I'm just going to start addressing them. I've had several questions about, are my children able to join Togetherall? And they must be 16 years to join the platform. They would register the same way you would register. They would use your employer group to register, but they must be over 16. There is currently not an app to support this. It is a browser-based support tool. Yes, someone is asking if there is a demo we can use to present to our staff. So this session is being recorded and it will be emailed to everyone who joined today. So you'll have the video recording. Is this available to our employees, family members, or just employees? It's available to anyone who is eligible to use the EAP. So at EFR, we say that's anyone in your immediate household, but they have to be over the age of 16 if they're children.
I'll just sort of add in there too, you know, we do a lot of work with kind of later years of high school and in colleges and universities. I mean, this is a great space. We know 16, 17, 18-year-olds love to go online, right, and share all kinds of things. So this is a great, safe alternative, and really do encourage you to share with the teens and young adults in your life.
When a person shares with the community, will they receive a response from a licensed clinician?
They will. So especially when they're posting for the very first time, or if there's concern from our clinical team around risk, it's built on, the platform is built on technology that helps kind of facilitate our clinical team to identify, you know, individual members who may be kind of showing signs of risk. And just like the EAP intake does at EFR, you know, we reach out, we assess the risk, and then kind of determine the level of support that's required. And that might be in the platform or outside of the platform. But every single post gets a response to it.
Is Togetherall based?
Oh, I think you hit mute, Johanna.
Based in Canada. I noticed an accent and different spelling of words like organization. Do you want to give a little background on where Togetherall did we freeze?
Yes, you detected my accent. That's right. So actually, our roots are actually in England with the National Health Service over there, and we have really grown over the last 15 years. So we serve about 400 different partners and organizations across England, the United States, Canada, that's the funny accent, Ireland, and New Zealand.
Thank you. I have a few people asking, is there a flyer available that I can share with my staff or team members? And so, yes, there are marketing pieces that we can get out to you. So typically just, you know, I don't know if the person asking this is what we consider a primary contact at EFR. So EFR communicates with organizations' primary contacts, and we send information to them that to then distribute to other team members, other department heads, leaders, managers. And so what we can do is we can definitely include a flyer in a follow-up email to everyone who attended this, but know that in your organization, there is someone who is EFR's primary contact, and that individual does receive a lot of different marketing pieces from us to help promote the EAP and Togetherall as well. Can employees use this platform anytime? Is there a certain number of times you can use this platform? You can use the platform as many times as you would like. Will there be additional trainings recordings available that we can share with our staff regarding this new benefit, or will this session be recorded and sent out? Yes, the session is being recorded and it will be sent out. And if spouses join, do they set up their own account? Yes, so they would set up their own account. You said adult children of employees are able to use this tool. Is there an age limit? Also, do children have separate login information? Nicole, I'll just let you kind of keep answering the questions about adult children of employees.
Yeah, so as long as they're over the age of 16 plus, and then if they're eligible for the EFR benefit, then they are eligible for the Togetherall service. Every single member, we call them members, but every single person who creates an account has their own account, and so that would include young adults over the age of 16.
Thank you. And yes, I'm going to add a link in the chat so people, before we end the webinar, can see where to go just immediately, so they don't have to wait for that email to come out this afternoon.
If you've got your smartphone out, you can also, this QR code will actually take directly to the link where you enter in your, your employer, your organization, and you can get registered right now.
And then I have a question. How do you know if your children are eligible for EFR benefits? So EAP benefits are different from other benefits. There's not that open enrollment period where you have to designate if you want your family members to be covered. Anyone in your household is automatically covered under your EAP benefits through EFR. Occasionally people will say, well, I have a child, they don't live with me. Maybe they live with their other parent, or they're a young adult. They're living, in an apartment because they're in college. If you consider them one of your, dependent children, even if they're maybe 22, 23 years old, then they would be eligible to use EFR's EAP benefits as well as Togetherall. So just think about who's in your primary household, and those individuals have access to EAP benefits through EFR. Lots of great questions, and I did put the link in the chat, but as Nicole said, if you have your phone available, you can go straight to the registration page. So we're going to wrap up because it's 10:30 and I want to be mindful of everyone's time, but I'm very excited about this benefit. I think everyone who joined us is excited too, just based on the number of questions we have received, and just the number of people who joined us today is really great. So I want to remind everyone that EFR is available to help you navigate life's challenges, and this platform is one of the ways that you can engage with your EAP benefit and kind of find the support you need and take care of yourself. We know that May is Mental Health Awareness Month, but focusing on your mental health is important all the time, just like it is, focusing on your physical health. So stay in touch with your mental health and use your benefits through EFR as a great resource to do that. Thank you, everyone. It was great to see you and hear from you in the chat. And like I said, you'll be receiving an email this afternoon with more information, or you can sign up right now.
Bye all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole.